your running back situation? I know you've talked before about not wanting to have 5, 6 guys running in and out. So we saw Marshawn. We don't see JC even on the depth chart. What's the kind of outlook there at that position?
Marshawn's a starter. We like what Sam has brought to the table from a running standpoint. When he's gotten in there, he's been productive. Pittsburgh, Boston College, he's gotten in there and he's moved the pile and he's gotten positive yardage each time he's been in there. So we like what those two guys bring to the table. If Jerome does some things that, that's the reason we decided not to redshirt him and decided to play him, is that he brings a lot to the table. And then JC and Joel are certainly in the mix. So you're right, we don't want to have a 5-man rotation. Marshawn's the starter, and then when we get down there on Saturday, we'll kind of see how the game's going and go from there.
Are you running him in plays that are tailback plays, or is he getting carries out of fullback?
Tailback. He knows everything. So if he's in there, there's things that there's certain things that only he does from a route running, blocking standpoint that you wouldn't be able to ask the other tailbacks to do. What we ask the tailbacks to do, he can do all of that, if that makes sense. So he's utility guy. Does it all, but yes, when he's in there, it's tailback plays for him.
Your dad mentioned that Marshawn maybe didn't look quite like himself against BC. Has he looked better?
He's looked better. Y'all saw it. I didn't think he was 100%. He tells you he is and was and all that, but I just didn't see the speed and explosiveness and all that I was used to seeing from him. The off week did him well. Gave him a chance gave all of our guys a chance to get their legs back, get mentally and physically refreshed, if you want to call it that. I think he's looked much better this week in practice, has looked faster, has looked more explosive, and we need that. There were a couple times in the Miami and Boston College game both where he came through there and he got tackled one-on-one by a safety. And not used to seeing that necessarily from him. Now, he broke a lot of tackles too, but I've just talked to him about playing faster with more energy, more juice, whatever you want to call it, and he's looked good in practice this week.
3/4 of the way through the season, how do you sort of evaluate Marshawn? He's been hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
He kind of developed as your number one back.
I think he's been
head toward the middle of the season. How do you kind of look at him so far?
I think he's been very good. To be totally honest, I think from a mental standpoint, he's really been sharp and locked in. I can't think of any missed assignments, mental errors that he's had, from a pass protection standpoint, route running standpoint, whatever. He's got a good feel for what we're asking our guys to do in the run game as far as, pressing the line of scrimmage and not cutting it back too soon, things like that. He's got a good feel for that stuff. I feel like he's gotten better each week. Obviously the injury, set him back, but I like where he is right now. With the whole running game obviously has got to be a lot better than what it is. I sound like a broken record, I know. I've been saying it for 3 years. But it does, and as that continues to get better, he'll be better. But he's been good. I think he's made progress and has got to continue to get better. Losing Trey and Shaw, just from a running game standpoint, that was a big loss, for us, losing both those guys. But Marshawn's done what we've asked him to do, and the injury did set him back. But I feel like he's a guy that's made progress each week and has gotten better each week.
Your dad didn't seem quite so optimistic about Trey's outlook for the weight game and beyond.
Yeah.
How do you kind of?
I think I used the word optimistic last week or something to use it, or on the teleconference, whatever it was, and I still am. Knowing Trey, I wouldn't put anything past him. You're talking about a guy that had his leg snapped in two against Virginia and played, or was practicing 9 months later. If anybody could be ready to play next week, it would be him. He was out there running last week in practice. He really hasn't done a whole lot this week. I know he got an X-ray yesterday. I haven't even gotten the results of that, of what the X-ray said after he met with the doctors. But he's in good spirits. He was in he's in all my meetings, and if anybody can be back, it would be him. I'm not necessarily counting on him, but I'm still hopeful, that he'd be okay.
Where are you physically?
I think I'm 100 now. Maybe not so much 100 last week, but the week or 2 weeks ago, but enough. But yeah, I'm ready to go this week.
You guys seemed like you were right on the verge of getting this running game going, and then everybody got hurt. How much do you think that honestly set you back, and where are you now in that process?
Well, you know, injuries is always a setback. Just any time away from the game is a setback. But you know, I think it's coming together now, and we should be straight.
You now lost another offensive lineman. What do you see from Wade Hansen, and do you think that that's going to be an issue as you try to run the ball?
No, I think Wade was always ready, you know, and you know John was doing his job, of course. But I know Wade was always ready, so I mean, just you know, it's a different player there, but I think he's just as ready.
He's obviously not as experienced, and are there going to have to be changes, tinkering with the offense to adjust to that? I mean, are you going to have to chip with tight ends, send fullbacks over to help there?
No, I don't think so. He's been in the system. We switched him. Maybe I don't even remember when we switched him over, but he's been here long enough in practice that he doesn't need our help.
What's he like to practice with? What's his personality on the field?
He's a beast. He's looking to bury somebody, him and Wyatt. So you know, he's a good person to have, good energy.
Sounds good. Thanks, man. Where are you physically?
I think I'm 100 now. Maybe not so much 100 last week, but the week or 2 weeks ago, but enough, you know. But yeah, I'm ready to go this week.
You guys seemed like you were right on the verge of getting this running game going, and then everybody got hurt. How much do you think that honestly set you back, and where are you now in that process?
Well, you know, injuries is always a setback. Just any time away from the game is a setback. But you know, I think it's coming together now, and we should be straight.
You now lost another offensive lineman. What do you see from Wade Hansen, and do you think that that's going to be an issue as you try to run the ball?
No, I think Wade was always ready, you know, and you know John was doing his job, of course. But I know Wade was always ready, so I mean, just you know, it's a different player there, but I think he's just as ready.
He's obviously not as experienced, and are there going to have to be changes, tinkering with the offense to adjust to that? I mean, are you going to have to chip with tight ends, send fullbacks over to help there?
No, I don't think so. He's been in the system. We switched him. Maybe I don't even remember when we switched him over, but he's been here long enough in practice that he doesn't need our help.
What's he like to practice with? What's his personality on the field?
He's a beast. He's looking to bury somebody, him and Wyatt. So you know, he's a good person to have, good energy.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Bus there, and there's been some big plays created off that. But how would you characterize how this defense has played this year overall? When you take it all in?
I think we've been playing good. You know, like we said, we'll have a game where like 50 plays and the team will have 100 yards, and then 3, 4, 5 plays that have 150 yards. So it's just little things that we can fix that are coachable. You know, just big plays that we're giving up that, you know, we can fix. So I think other than that, I think we're playing good.
When did you suffer that?
Early in the year.
Because you've been playing with that since. So how many? You've been playing with the cast, and no one's just noticed. How the coaches been this week? Have they been encouraging? Have they been angry? You know, what's sort of been their mood and how they've sort of, you know, trying to get you guys to move forward and move on from this 3-game losing streak?
Definitely encouraging. You know, it's not for them to be. It's not for them to be angry. You know, that's not going to solve anything. You know, we can't change. You know, the last 3 games that we played. So, you know, they just encouraging us to keep our heads up, keep on working hard, try to finish off strong.
What do you see in Duke's offense? I mean, obviously, with it, you know, Crowder is obviously a very talented guy. Will you be matched up with him a lot, you think? How will you guys handle? I know they move him around a lot, it seems.
Yeah. You know, we just going to play our positions. You know, whoever he lines up against, he's going to line up against. You know, it's just going to be a team effort, a group effort.
Are you guys glad to get back to, or are you personally glad to get back to playing a team that throws the ball a decent amount? I know the last few weeks it's just been run, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. You know, sometimes I know a lot of us, you know, we like being in the box, you know, go in there and prove that we can be a physical defense as well, you know, not just a defense that can run around the field. So, you know, both type of games are really fun.
How much have you progressed since you moved to offensive tackle back in August?
I feel like I've done well. I've done enough to be a sufficient backup where I'm just the next person in line in case anyone gets hurt or anyone needs a blow. So I'm happy I was chosen to step up, and I'm excited for this weekend's game.
How does the guy that started his college career at RPI wind up in a place like this? Kind of walk us through that process and how you got here.
Well, there was a lot of emails sent out. I had 2 successful years, and I thought I could take football to the next level. And I sent out a bunch of emails. And I got a big response from Virginia Tech, and I wound up actually getting sick the spring before I would have came here over the summer. And so my grades went down because I had mono, strep, and Lyme disease at the same time. So it was pretty devastating to my health. So I lost about 30 pounds, and I had to take college courses at 2 different community colleges over the summer in order to get my grades up. So after I had my 2 summer sessions, I did well, I had A's, and sent my transcript, and they told me I was accepted about 13 days before moving day in August.
Wow.
And then that's how I came down here.
So you got diagnosed with Lyme disease when?
In the spring of 2012.
Oh, wow.
Because last year was 2013. So yes, spring of 2012, I had mono, Lyme, and strep.
Could you even move? I mean,
I was exhausted. Like I said, I could barely. I was having an issue. I couldn't go to class because of mono. So my grades just plummeted. And it was just so hard to recover back, both academically and physically. So I just went at it over the summer with 2 different schools, and I did well in online classes. And I just kept in the weight room as soon as I was cleared to be back in the weight room. And I made a highlight tape, and it turned out that Virginia Tech still wanted me to come down. So
did you think at any point during that, like, is this worth it to try to come back? I mean, that's a pretty tough thing to come back from physically.
I feel like if it's worth fighting for it, yeah, you should definitely go for it. If it's worth that much to you to go through those struggles, why not? This means a lot to me. This means a lot to be part of this program. It's so prestigious compared to Division III school. I'm not knocking my old school, but I felt like this is one of those programs that as a kid you look at it and go, I want to go to Virginia Tech. So I'm just happy to be here.
What other schools did you email? You said you sent out a bunch of emails to.
I did get. There was Georgia Southern. There was email sent to UConn, East Carolina, Maryland, Boston College, and I really didn't get any responses back. Rutgers told me I could walk on the first day of practice, but Virginia Tech said if I come here, I'm a preferred walk-on, so I'd have a spot. So I had to take advantage of it.
What was your reaction in August when they're like, we don't think you're going to make an impact and tackle? How would you like try the offensive line? I know you played everything basically in high school. I mean, were you very open to that move? And
at first, I was a little apprehensive, but I realized I felt like it's the best move for me to be involved. Because after about 4 days, I was already second on the depth chart, and that was mainly just through giving everything I had during practice. Basically, just through effort, I made it to the second string, and I felt like, all right, now I feel like I'm more of an impact player to this program, even though I'm a backup. I feel like I can actually do something rather than just be on the scout team.
did you move before Schumann got hurt, or was that